What's up, beautiful people? Right now you are listening to the voice of Assel Jean-Pierre Jr., also known as Cells. Listen, if y'all trying to follow me on any social media, my Instagram is SelzJP, SELZJP. My Facebook is my name, Assel Jean-Pierre Jr. Type my name into YouTube, you'll find my channel. I speak, I play, I produce. So if you need any of those things, please feel free to hit me up. You can hit me up through social media on my business email, which is selzjpinc@gmail.com. selzjpinc@gmail.com. Check out my hashtags, Sel Speaks, Sels and Keys, which is SELZNKEYZ, and Sels Produces. Looking forward to connecting with you guys. All right, be blessed. How you guys doing? You already know what time it is. Back for another episode of Sel Speaks. And you know, I love talking to the people, love hearing your feedback. So again, if you're rocking with us, you know, spread the love, share the love, leave us a review. Tell us what we could do better. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. You know what I mean? We ain't afraid of criticism. We're just trying to get better. We're trying to grow. But we back at it again. So, you know, for today, there is a phrase that we hear all the time when it comes to a collective group of people trying to succeed, right? We hear the term crabs in a barrel. And, you know, so many people have so many opinions on that and so many different takes on that. And, you know, I started thinking about it and I kind of came up with my own little view on it. And, you know, the whole thing with crabs in a barrel is basically a whole group of people, you know, most of the time it's in reference to minorities, and barrel meaning a confined system, space. Usually it's meant to reference the systematic oppression that minorities live in. So we're all stuck in a system and we're all trying to get out. And instead of helping each other to get out, we're climbing on top of each other, kicking each other down, doing whatever we need to do to get out, even if it comes at the cost of our fellow neighbor. You know what I mean? So that's usually what the typical meaning of that statement is. And you know, a lot of people say, hey, you know, crabs shouldn't even be in a barrel, which is very true. You know, that's not their natural habitat. But for me, I kind of took a different spin on it, you know. My take on it was this, because we can definitely say that crabs shouldn't be in a barrel, but the reality is that we as minorities are actually disadvantaged and in a system that is not in our favor. You know, if you need any proof of that, just look at the justice system. Look at the type of sentences that are given to minorities and people of color, and look at the type of sentences that are given to the Anglo-Saxons, people of Caucasian descent, white folk. Look at the disparity. You see it in the law system, you see it in sports, you see it everywhere. You know, and black people do something, it's perceived as negative and thuggish and brutish and this, and you know, when white people do the same thing, it's perceived drastically different. And you know, obviously, yes, it's not all white people, and not all white people, you know, flaunt their privilege, etc., but white privilege does exist. You know, minority disparity does exist. So point being is that this was my take on it. So you can say, okay, we are crabs in a barrel to an extent. But where it gets tricky is we're not all the same. And so, you know, if you, I'm of Haitian descent, so I identify as Haitian. And in our culture environment, a lot of the parents, older generations encourage their children to pursue careers in medical fields or in law. So nurse, lawyer, doctor, those kind of things, nonstop. That's always what they're pushing us for. And sometimes even engineering. And what happens is they feel like that's the only way to find success. The only way to grow, the only way to be great is to participate in these type of careers. So now if you go back to the crabs in a barrel analogy, right, it means that you're looking at every single crab there as, okay, they are the same and there's only one way to get out. And so when I was thinking about this, I was like, well, we're not all the same. We all have different types of skills and gifts. Yes, some of us may be put on this earth to be nurses. Some of us may be put on this earth to be doctors, lawyers, and all that. But not all of us are meant to do the same thing. And see, the issue becomes when you, who is that crab, allow other people to define you, and you feel like the only way out of the barrel, the only way out of this hard, work struggle life that you've been living is to kind of just do what everybody else is doing or what somebody else is doing. That's setting yourself up for failure. Because even when it comes to crabs, like, not even all crabs are the same. You have, I'm reading this for you guys, so I'm being educated. You've got the Portunidae crab. You've got spider crabs. You have ghost crabs. You have the Ranina crab. Looks very interesting. And you have shore crabs, just to name a few. I'm not about to go down the entire list. But each crab has its own unique gifts and abilities, and its own unique features, its own unique look. So what does that mean? It means that based on its abilities and features, how it gets out of the barrel will be different from every other crab. So it means to make the parallel, to clarify the parallel even more, it means, okay, we'll identify as crabs. But if I'm a ghost crab, it doesn't mean you're a ghost crab. It can mean that you're a spider crab. And I say this to say, you have to know yourself. You have to know your gifts. You have to know your abilities. You have to know what's unique about you, because you don't do what you do by accident. You are not the way you are by accident. So if you're not the way you are by accident, then that means that there are things about you that are the keys to unlocking the life that you're looking for, the life that you desire. A lot of people see, oh, okay, real estate is the move. That's the way to residual wealth. That's what everybody's going for, real estate. But that might not be what it does it for you. Real estate might not be your thing. So it's like, because you see everybody else doing it and you see everybody else having success with it, you feel like that's probably what you also need to do, but it might not be. There are many other forms of residual wealth. You have, you could become an author and make money off of your books. You could become a producer and make money off of the royalties from your albums and your tracks. So it's like, when we get caught up in the analogy that, okay, you know what, we're all the same and there's only one way for all of us to make it out, then absolutely, yes, you will end up stepping on everybody else because you feel like everybody is taking up your space and taking up your lane. And if you don't beat this person to this, then you're going to have a problem. Think about that. If out of 100 people, I tell all of them that the only way to make it is in real estate, then you have 100 people competing for the same exact thing. However, if I take those 100 people and I say, you guys need to find what's unique about you, what's amazing about you. And once you find that, once you find your gift, your purpose, your passion, that's your way of finding and creating a new life for yourself. Now you have 100 people who, you know what? Maybe 5 of them actually do choose real estate, but then maybe another 5 go the route of owning a restaurant. Maybe another 5 open up a car dealership. Maybe another 5 get into carpentry and landscaping. And now all of a sudden you have 100 people who are pursuing their unique gifts. And what does that do? It benefits the collective as a whole, because you're not herding a bunch of people into something they don't fit into. One thing I've learned when it comes to people is that everybody is a genius in their own right. They just don't know it, and they don't know in what capacity. Like, I speak for myself. I'm not going to go ahead and call myself a genius, but there are certain things and certain situations when you put me into, like, I love to talk. I love to create music. When you put me in those spaces, oh man, like, that's my zone. Like, that's where I live. But if you were to try and tell me to have you explain, if you were try to get me to explain how the hydrogen collider works, or, tell you every single part of the anatomy and stuff like that, I could learn it. I could definitely learn it and figure it out, but that's not what makes my heart beat. That's not my niche. And so what happens is, when we feed into these narratives, oh, you got to be a doctor. Oh, you got to be a nurse. Oh, you got to do this. We're sitting there losing time, because you're going to go through the process. You're smart. You're going to study. You're going to make the sacrifices. You're going to pass the test and get through the system. But then what's going to happen is You're going to be there and you're going to be going to work, doing what you're doing, and you hate what you do. Or you feel like you're settling. And it could be any one of these things. But it's like you're going each day and you just feel like, man, what am I doing? Like, what's the purpose? And I've seen many people who have gone through the process, who have knocked it out the park, passed the test, NCLEX, all of that stuff, graduated, working, making good money, and then they wake up one day and say, yo, I hate it. I know someone personally who was doing it, and they decided to, I don't know if they necessarily quit, but they backed off it so much so that they started to pursue baking. And they're successful at what they do. And it's like, it makes you think like, okay, what if that's what they put their entire energy into from day one? How much more successful would they have been at baking? And it's not to say you can't do two things, but like, I really want to stress the point to you guys. Like, yes, we are in a system that is disadvantageous to us. We're in a system that does not work in our favor. It's true. But how we break out of that system, how we grow from that system, it ain't all going to be the same. We all going to do it a different way. And the beauty is that when you understand what makes you unique and what works for you, you will never feel threatened by anybody else. It's like, if you're not sure of that, just go on Instagram. There are a bunch of people doing the same exact thing, and yet everybody could find success. The example I love to use is when we go back to the song, "We Are the World, We Are the Children," that song, right? When you look, you see a bunch of singers, and all of them are multimillionaires, extremely successful people who have major followings. And what's so interesting about that? It's that when you listen, some people's voices you love, some people's voices you don't love. Some people you're the biggest fan, some people you're not the biggest fan. And yet that doesn't even disturb their income or their success. Whether I like Sidney Crawford or not, that has nothing to do with her fan base. My opinion of her is not going to alter how successful she is. And what does that go to say? It's like, with whatever you do, it doesn't matter how many people in your lane. If you're great at what you do, you will find your form of success. You don't need to climb on top of everybody. Especially understanding that we're not all meant to do the same thing. Again, I'm going back from the top. So, crabs in a barrel, sure. If that's the analogy that we want to be given, that's fine. But understand, as crabs, even crabs are different. Even crabs have their own unique abilities, skills, and tricks. So if you are a crab, fine. Find out what's unique about you. Find out what unique features and abilities that you have that separate you from the pack. And you don't have to evolve or grow out of the system the same way everybody else is doing it. Some people are doing real estate. Some people are doing medicine. Some people are pursuing law. That don't mean it has to be you. You need to find out what it is that you do and use that, master it, dominate that, and that'll be your way. So I don't want to harbor on this and go on and on and on, but I just want to let you guys know, like, listen, yeah, we can be crabs, but we all different. We all have different skills and abilities that are important. We need the things that you do. We need that. Whether it's food, whether it's cleaning, like what you do is important, and we need that. So figure out what it is that you do, not what everybody's trying to force you to do or push you to do. Find out what it is that you do, what your heart beats for, what makes you happy, what makes you feel like you're not working as you do it, and to pursue that. Let that be your way. Don't try and mimic everybody else, because everybody trying to be everybody. Just be you. Master being you. All right. It's been a good time with y'all. Till next time. Assel speaks.
Like what you heard, right? What I need you to do is 1, subscribe to this podcast. 2, share it with somebody. Don't be greedy now. 3, I need to join SOP's social media family. Instagram, SOP_Ministry HCL. Facebook and YouTube, SOP Ministry HCL. Get our original songs available on all streaming media. You want to give us a financial donation to help push this cause forward? We appreciate that. Send us that cash app at $SOP Ministry HCL. Be blessed, family. See y'all next week.